to explain to you what we're doing here is there's this future that we want to happen where design researchers and developers of design methods and tools generate and advance sustainable design methods and tools to enable the satisfaction of the UN Sustainable Development Goals and get those integrated into the strategies and objectives of industry practitioners. So getting sustainability built into how all companies everywhere do their product development and service development. And then we want those industry practitioners to communicate with and provide input to design researchers. And we want researchers to provide training on sustainability and sustainability methods to industry practitioners. And we want those sustainable design methods and tools to provide value to industry practitioners. And we've basically divided this up into 4 research questions, these diamonds here. And what those research questions are how do we clarify the needs of industry, and how do we make better sustainable design methods or improve existing methods, and how do we improve the way that we make those methods, and then how do we drive industry adoption, because the problem may not be the methods themselves. We may already have as good sustainable design methods and tools as we will ever need. And it's just a question of getting industry to actually use the things. So that's why that is there as well. And the way that this research roadmap works is we've taken all 4 of these research questions and we identified themes in each one. And then for each of those themes, there's a short-term, a medium-term, and a long-term task. And so when you look at the arrows down below, these 4 arrows here, each one of those is one of these research questions. And you can see, if we zoom in here, I'll just zoom in on this one. You can see that there are the themes, and each one of those themes has a short-term task and a medium task and a long-term task. And then below, there are these names of the other research questions. This is just pointing out the fact that a lot of the stuff is interdependent and interlinked. And so if you do research on one of these things, it can also relate to some of the other research questions. You know, as much as we tried to make this an all-encompassing roadmap that includes everything you would ever want to research in sustainable design tools and methods, it's obviously not perfect. But we're trying to create a framework here that can help you and other people identify the landscape and plan your own research and how it fits into the bigger picture and fits in with other people as well. And to find collaborators. And each one of these tasks in each one of these themes could be an entire PhD or a master's thesis or just a conference paper. And any one of those things is fine, depending on the level of importance and the level of depth. And we really want your help to identify what needs research the most and who wants to do it. Excuse me. Now, I'm not going to bore you by reading every single one of all of these things, because that would take forever. But I will take you through some of them. So, and I'll go through all the themes here at the very least. So for research question 1, the main themes are trying to identify and match existing sustainable design methods and tools, or we're calling them SDMTs for short. Find existing SDMTs and matching them to industry needs. And then the second theme is finding what applies to different industries and what applies to all industries. And the third one, what are the needs and opportunities resulting from digitalization, both digitalization of sustainable design methods or tools and digitalization of the products that we're trying to make more sustainable. For research question 2, improving SDMTs, there is, it says new design methods and tools here, but we also mean improving existing ones as well, just making better sustainable design methods and tools. And then making methods that integrate better into existing product development workflows at companies. And then methods of improving communication between sustainability experts, designers, engineers, the customers, everybody. Then research question 3, how we go about the process of developing SDMTs. And so collaborative human-centered design approach, that's pretty self-explanatory. Industry-driven integrated approach, so that's co-creating tools and methods with companies. And then long-term implementation, so keeping SDMTs active over years or decades and finding why they stop being active. And then consolidating tools and methods is, I think, important because honestly, there are way too many sustainable design methods out there that nobody uses. And I think we can take the gems from each one and put them together into stuff that will get used more. And then finally, integration into industry. So again, this is, what if the methods themselves are fine, but we just need better ways to get industry to do stuff? So implementing in organizations, that's like organizational change kind of stuff. Incentivizing tool adoption. Do we need better laws? Do we need better economics? Do we need better in company policies? Things like that. External systemic aids. How can we drive system influences? And knowledge dissemination. So that's basically training. So both us in academia training our students and directly training industry as well. And then finally, collaborations between academia and industry to, again, drive training and to do all these other research questions 1 through 3 to partner better with industry to make things that will actually get used. And just for a little more detail here, in one of those, again, you can ignore the names for now. We'll get to that in a second, but just look at the themes and tasks. Like, so for research question 3, how do we develop sustainable design methods and tools? One of the ideas to look at is long-term implementation. And so in this theme, the short-term task that we've identified is study what design methods do last long, which ones don't last long, and why do the ones that don't last, why do they fall into disuse? And then the medium-term task is how can we prototype stuff that might be better? How can we make SDMTs that last longer by making them maybe updatable and tunable as company needs change, or otherwise solve the problems that were identified in the short term. And then finally, the long-term task is to define and disseminate best practices to drive long-term system change. And you'll notice that the long-term task for most things is defining and disseminating best practices, basically trying to roll out into industry and scale up the things that we learned in the short and medium term. And now some of you might think that the short-term task in your area of interest is already done, or maybe you just think it's boring and you want to work on something else. You want to work on the medium term or the long term. That's fine. In fact, actually, that's what the first part of this workshop is for, is to, excuse me, identify what you are already researching or what you have researched in the past, and maybe you think it's a solved problem. But before we get to the first activity, I expect that some of you have questions on this because it is a lot, it's complicated, and we didn't go into detail on a lot of this stuff. So what questions do you have so far? And feel free.
So I will turn on the recording and then share a short PowerPoint with you. And it's, let's see, it will be very short, so you just have patience with us and stay. And we will give you some more information about sustainable design SIG. So let's see if you can see my screen now. So sustainable design SIG in a special interest group is actually, as you heard this morning in the beginning of the conference, it's one of 16 special interest groups in design society. And we try to have some information and present what we're doing on the conference in design and ICED. And we have this year also, we would like to give you some information about some focus areas. And we have workshops, we have webinars, and we have member engagement. And also we seek a new member for the steering committee. As it is now, we are a group of 5 people in the steering group. So I'm the SIG chair since 2020, and I co-chair with Yuri Bogiani. The other chairpersons you have met, Jeremy Faludi, of course, and Daniela Picosso. And we also have Jan Leroy that have been taking part since 2015, but he will leave his seat, and therefore we have 1 seat available for a new member. A little bit about this special interest group. It was actually founded or established 2001, so it turns 20 years this year, and was the first special interest group in design society. It was Tim McAloon who started it. The goal for our SIG is to mainly support industry with different challenges related to sustainable design implementation. And that means both look into what are the strategies and how can we support companies in bringing in sustainable design strategically, and how can we support companies on all different levels for them to be committed to work with this. It's also about collaboration between practitioners, collaboration between academia and practitioners, and between academia, of course. And also about increasing the knowledge, training for trainers, and long life training, important parts, of course. And then also tools and management is key things that we also do research and discuss in our SIG. We also bring in other concepts such as circular economy, and all of these are seen from a design perspective and based on scientific-based research. So please, there are a lot of more information on our homepage, and if you're a member, you can select to be a member. If you're a member in Design Society, you can select to be a member in this special interest group. Then you can also get more information from us. We also have a LinkedIn group. So if you're interested in that and want to learn more how to become a member or get into our LinkedIn group, please let me know or any of us in the steering committee. So some examples of activities that we have decided to focus on during 2021. We have, for example, webinars. So Daniela, if you want to give a brief intro to that.
Yes, and I hope it's going to work now. So very briefly, last year we organized a webinar series that was very successful. We had in total 7 different webinars, and we managed to get the discussion going with about 300 people along those webinars. They are all available in our Sustainable Design website. So if you want to have a look into them and be inspired, or want to challenge our speakers, then you are welcome to watch and get back to us. But more important than that, I actually want to say that we are organizing a new series now in 2021. And our main focus here is to understand how can design science contribute to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. Basically, what we did here was to contact all of the other special interest groups in the design society and pair them to really bring a content discussion and a debate about how design science from different perspectives can contribute to achieving the SDGs. So keep a look into our website. We will announce all of the webinars in there, but we will be also spreading the word on LinkedIn. So I hope to see many of you there as well.
Thank you, Daniela. And Jeremy, you can talk more about some workshops.
Yeah, so we don't currently have any other workshops scheduled, but there are things available. And so basically let us know if you're interested in them and we can organize something. So number one, particularly since a lot of you were so interested in sustainable design education, both academically and for companies, that's something that I've done a lot of for outside of the Design Society. I've led workshops for more than 500 people in industry and train the trainer for faculty as well. And we could organize those through the Design Society for you folks. And could also do a workshop on how to integrate stuff into classes. And particularly if you know faculty that are not specializing in sustainable design, maybe they're just mechanical engineering faculty or electrical engineering faculty or whatever, but they want to learn how to integrate sustainability into their classes. If we get a big enough group of them together, we can do a train the trainer on that as well. Or we could organize more collaboration workshops like this one, but in a more targeted group of people. And so, like I said, none of this is currently scheduled. We want to know what you folks are interested in. So let us know, either email me or put it into the survey that we're going to ask you to fill out at the end of this in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Jeremy. And then we have jury that we present. Members can get more involved.
Oh, Yuri, we can't hear you.
So it seems like jury have frozen. Or maybe I go and give a short, brief explanation of his part. We'll see if he comes back. But basically, what we have done is that we have launched a two-stage survey that we wanted to see what the members in this SIG are interested in. And we have also opened an email newsletter for those that are members that can get a little bit more updated on what's going on. With the people that were interested in from the survey, we have had some specific meetings, so we will set up more activities and support in workshops and etc. And if you're interested to support us in the steering committee with those kinds of activities, you're very welcome also to contact us after this. So that is some activities that we have. And least but not least important is that we also seek a new member for the steering group. This is you're very welcome to send to us a page that explains why you want to be part of the steering committee. And also for those that are interested, just to let you know that we are quite an active group and requires some dedicated time, but it's not too much. It's to about 2 hours per month for different SIG activities. So if we are many that can support and get this going, we can, each of us don't have to put so much extra time to it. But it's very important to get this SIG living and being active during the years. So if you're interested, please send to me and Jury and a short page on why you're interested, and we will come back to you. And we say the deadline is 30th of September for this one. So now we can open up for questions if you have any questions, and we will also stop recording during this session.